Greetings to my team of 144, all Starseeds, Lightworkers, and Wayshowers. Today is 5/31/2019, 8:18 a.m. in the morn. How you feeling today? Someone pointed out yesterday that my main YouTube channel had 81 subscribers, 8,181, and my backup Prime Disclosure channel had 1,818 subscribers, 81 backwards. Another major synchronicity. Thank you for pointing that out. Today I woke up this morning around 7:30, another 73 coming in, and looked out into the sky like I usually do to look at the ships and the clouds and the sun, see what it's doing. And the sun was a amazing golden orb. We have a thick, very thick cloud cover so you can look directly into the sun, and there's some massive codes coming in today. A lot of energy and codes came into the field last night. A lot of fire, a lot of fiery energies. One moment I felt like my third eye was lit up on fire. I look out my back door this morning and there are two cute little faces looking in my back window. Two little kitty cats, a gray one and a white one. I know they're my neighbor's cats, and they were looking for a little treat, so I gave them a little treat, and then I did my routine, make my lemon water and walk on the grass. And the dew is thick this morning. Thick, cool dew. That's the best time to walk barefoot on the earth. The dew absorbs through the night the energies of Gaia. The electrons absorb, and then you absorb those negative ions, or the electrons, which neutralizes free radicals in the body. That's grounding. You can absorb that through your feet, through the skin, through your field of electrons. The two come together and merge. So look, if you take a look outside, how's the sun looking for you today? That gold energy is very powerful, very grounding. A lot of energies coming in through the field today. Let us know how you're feeling in the comments below. I know yesterday many people were having these high energies, these fiery feelings. Some people feeling exhausted. This is a time for rest. This is a time to relax. The next month is going to be very powerful for Lightworkers, from 6/4 to 7/4, from June 4th to July 4th. The acceleration, we are in the quickening into the new earth, the golden age. So many people are feeling this in many ways. I want to address a couple things. I know when I address certain issues, and I don't focus my mind on the negative, but if someone accuses me of something or threatens me, or people I care about, I'm going to address them just to let the world know that I'm aware. Not that it affects me in a negative way. I know people want to avoid or not talk about the negative, but the dark ones that still are trying to hold on, I know many people are feeling attacked. I know the Archons are sending their minions to try and distract me, or to try and prevent me from putting out this information to all of you. And many times they work through the Lightworker community. Some people are susceptible to the forces of the negative archonic energy, and then they try to transmit that to me, which I take it on and I send it back to the central sun, back to the still white source, the source at the center. And it's not that it affects me in a negative way. It just brings the awareness into this moment that there's still work to be done. There's still a cleanup going on. There's a massive cleanup crew. And if you are one of these people that is being affected by this negative energies, or they're trying to get you to come after me, just know that I'm a mirror. Like, I am pure awareness, just like this person that accused me of being a reptilian shapeshifter. It didn't bother me at all. I actually found it quite hilarious, seeing that the Archons and the reptilians have tried to take my avatar out of this realm many times and have failed, so that's alright. But I am going to address it just so people don't think I'm trying to hide or avoid, and I only leave those comments so that those people reveal themselves, to the community, to the world. I don't really have to do anything, but I won't engage that negativity, which is not me hiding from it, just I don't engage with the dark or ignorance or get pulled into conflict. I stay in the silence, the stillness, and I interact with the world. But it's funny, I told my mother that someone online had accused me of being a reptilian shapeshifter. I just tell people that to see their response, because it's usually quite hilarious. I was thinking about making a documentary about that, like asking 100 or 1,000 of my friends, depending on how much time I have, like, am I a reptilian shapeshifter? And my mother was basically just like, what in the F is wrong with people? And I just laughed and I said, well, there really are reptilian shapeshifters out there, as you well know. I just don't happen to be one of them. And she said something like, oh, they're just watching too many episodes of Supergirl or something like that, because there's a TV series she watches where they're shape-shifting aliens and reptilians or something. But I just thought that was funny. So I just address these things to let people know that, we're all subject to these external influences, and yes, I know they're just distractions, but it's all part of the game. It's this game of duality, the game of life. So once in a while I mostly focus on the positive and work with the people that are transmitting love and light into this realm, such as myself. But yesterday I was also under attack, and I am protected by my team in the physical and in the non-physical. The team of celestials that works with me, and I work with the dragon energies of the east. It's the rising sun. The west is the setting sun. So I work with the beauty and the truth and the light. And I'm just a simple man. Now someone accused me of being, I don't know what they said, a false prophet or some kind of fake Lightworker. And I tell people, and you might see this posted on some of my videos or posts on Facebook, because there's certain entities that are trying to take down my channel and my Facebook, but whatever. I'm not too attached to anything. I really have nothing to lose at this point, as long as, the physical. I live a pretty simple life. I don't claim to be anything. I don't claim to be a prophet, a guru. I'm just a simple man on a simple mission to assist in this process of awakening all of humanity to their true self. And if it's looked upon in a negative way of what I transmit to people, and all I am transmitting is that you listening to this audio right now are an infinite, multi-dimensional being with infinite potential. And if that's a bad thing to be teaching people, sorry. So sorry. And I teach basically the one teaching that's expressed in thousands of different ways is that all things are perfectly resolved in the unborn. What I mean by the unborn mind of Buddha, the unborn mind of the great mystery, which is pure awareness, which is your true self. And if you want to experience what that is, hold a newborn baby and look into that baby's eyes, and you will look into the eyes of pure awareness. You'll look into your own eyes. You'll look into your pure awareness. And all will be revealed in that pure awareness. That is your true self. That is who we truly are, beyond the senses, beyond the duality, beyond the conflict. And that's all I do, is guide people to that true nature, to the original mind, to the what we call the unborn mind of Buddha. There's a koan in Zen Buddhism that says, what is your face before your parents were born? See, the Zen masters, they go through and through and through until they reach that source, until they reunite with that pure awareness, with that pure self. Because Zen Master Bankei, Bankei, there's a book called The Unborn. There are a couple books written about him and his teachings. And all he ever taught was that everything is perfectly resolved in the unborn. And he explained it in many different ways in many of his Dharma talks. About the pure awareness of your true self. No matter how we dress up truth or how we express that truth, it always goes back to that pure awareness. And in that koan, what is your face before your parents were born? They didn't say what, your face, your true self, who are you before you were born into the physical. And that's in meditation, you sit with that koan and keep going through and through until you return to source, return to yourself. Return to love. And they didn't say what was your face before you were born, because people would just say, well, it was my parents. I was in my parents' DNA or blah, blah, blah. Well, what about before they were born? That's why they just immediately, what was your face before your parents were born? And I'm sure some minds will try to blur it and say, well, it's my grandparents, but they're talking about, obviously, who are you before there was any birth, before the universe was born, before the physical realm was created. Because until we return to source, there's always the potential for suffering. And we are on that journey. It isn't basically a solitary journey because you've stepped through that gate yourself. We are, as a collective, in this ascension process together. We are in this evolutionary leap from Homo sapien to Homo luminous, light body, as a collective, and we are here for each other. But the journey within, you do alone, with yourself, with your mind, with your own practice. And that's what this meditative practice is about finding the kingdom of heaven within. And it's a gateless gate. The gate is the mind. The mind puts up all gates, all fences. The veil, the mind creates the veil of illusion, the veil of separation, the veil of conflict, the veil of duality. But the veil is thinning, the veil is lifting. That's why many of us are seeing into the other realms, the other timelines, seeing into the celestial realm, into the Nawal and the unknowable. As we're treading this path in between worlds, we have a feet in both worlds, the physical and the non-physical, and it's becoming more and more evident every day. So please let us know in the comments below. The sun still right now is this beautiful golden orb with a very thick cloud cover, a allowing us to look directly into the sun today. But don't look for too long. I just look for a minute and absorb as many codes as I can. You generally do not want to stare directly into the sun when it's above a hand's width. And the sun rose quickly today. By 7:30 it was still already pretty high in the sky. So I wanted to share with you a few things today. A friend of mine, a good friend, Jeff in North Carolina. If you're by Asheville, you can go visit my buddy in Stackhouse, North Carolina. You can look him up on Facebook. His page is called Spirit of Tao, T-A-O, Spirit of Tao. And he's starting a tea farm. And he has a tea house there. And I guarantee if you go visit him, he will get you tea drunk. Just send him a message or comment on one of his posts. I trained with him years ago in Cha Dao, which is the way of tea, or we call the 5 elements of tea, or Gong Fu tea. It's a Chinese version of the tea ceremony. You go through the 5 elements in the ceremony. It's usually 2 to 3 hours long. I do those once every couple months or every few months. And it is quite an experience. It's a healing experience. It's a lot of fun. And he's in Stackhouse. I think it's a population of 3, he was saying. It's a beautiful location. You can hang out and have tea with Jeffrey. I met him about 9 years ago in Portland, Oregon, when I was training with our Sifu. He's one of my Kunlun brothers of the light. Interesting fella. And I trained at one of the dojo he was teaching out of, our Sifu Max, Qingfeng Dao Shi. It was the first time I met Sifu and trained with him in the Kunlun arts, and now I teach his art. And I also wanted to let you know Sifu is over in Arizona, close to Sedona. He posted on his site Primordial Alchemist today. What do you call it? He's a Mongolian shaman and a Taoist master, Buddhist master, and he's teaches the Taoist arts. His lineage, which I teach his art, I'm an apprentice with him, is called Kunlun, Kunlun. I have a link to his book under this video. And it's the Mongolian medicine ceremonies. He just posted on his site under events on Primordial Alchemist. And in, August of this year, August 10th and 11th, there's a fire ceremony, level 1, in Arizona. The fire ceremony and trance drumming, the traditional fire ceremony, was used by the ancients to ground, protect, and reveal the deeply hidden limitations of the self through the element of fire. And this will be a very powerful ceremony, if you can join him in that. And then August 17th is Earth Ceremony, level 1. And that's learning the wolf dance, breathing and posture. The traditional wolf dance was used to communicate to the protective spirits of the forest. In this dance, you will learn to embrace the spirit of the wolf through various postures, breathing, and bodily movement. So check out primordialalchemist.com and go to those events if you can, if they were meant to be. So today, I want to read a transmission from Christy Dimensional, who is now going by her true name on Facebook, Kem Kun, which is KEHMKUHN. And I know many of you that are going through this process of ascension, or this, what she speaks about, is going to resonate with you. This is from May 29th, a couple days ago. We shifted into new Ascension Rungs and made event preparations. And this is all about the event in the new Earth, which we are in this process of the acceleration. The spiral is getting closer to the center, to 0 point, as we spiral into that center. Many people are feeling the vertigo and the energies. It's becoming more evident, and there's more and more evidence daily. How did you experience the last 24 hours? I will recap what I experienced and also share some energy notes that came to me. The clearing from the day before, the super shockwave that we integrate, which brought up some intense healing of material relationships, etc. The heaviness of this lifted for me around 11 p.m. last night unexpectedly. And to note, I felt stuck in that energy, like I couldn't solve what came up, but it all of a sudden lifted. I felt pretty good. I felt flow, no major symptoms all of a sudden. I laid down to feel things out, and I had these moments of deep relaxation and bliss, which I hadn't felt in 2 months. I would feel this love bliss energy in my aura body. It felt so good and connected. I started to see psychically so many details on what it would be like after the event. It seemed to just flood in, and it felt my guides giving me feelings of confirmation on what I was seeing after the event happens. It all felt so nice and connected. This went on for 2 to 3 hours, and even during my sleep all night I felt bliss and connection, as if I hung out with event information all night. The event was just with me through the night and part of the day. It's as if my soul is getting ready to cross over to the event, because it felt like I was deeply acclimated to various scenarios after the event that I will personally be in. This morning and afternoon were easy, breezy, and feeling. Finally, a break I got. I want to note that about 2 to 3 months straight, I felt I had no breaks, just continual activations, clearings, and also bridging energies for the event. So these event energies have been coming in for several years. They're building to a crescendo. And this is a little side note from me, because I know some people are maybe feeling impatient or feeling like they're losing faith in the event. Like, why hasn't the event happened? Or when is the event going to happen? And ultimately, the event is happening. We are in the event energies. But it seems like we're still far from our goal. Like it's off in the distance. And the event for many people means things such as the end of suffering, the powers of ultimate manifestation, experiencing true beauty. And these things are all part of the event. Whatever the event means to you. And some people say the solar flash or this great awakening. And these energies that are coming in, these event waves, these event energies are preparing the physical. They're preparing the avatars, the vessels for the massive shift, for this quantum leap, which we are on the verge of. We're on the precipice of leaping into the abyss, leaping into the unknown, because this has never happened through all of eternity, what we are going through. So that is why it's so intense. That's why everything is coming up, all these purgings, all these releasings, because we have to release the old to make room for the new. We have to release the old false matrix, release the negative feelings, the negative thoughts, release the dark energies, release the suffering, release the pain, and just beyond that pain and suffering is the bliss, is the new earth. And we as Lightworkers and Starseeds are grounding into the grids this higher bliss energy directly from source, and they're transmitting through our heart center, through our middle dantian, out into this realm, and then as a feedback loop return through our senses, our 6 senses, to return to that still white magnetic light which it manifests originally from. So this is just becoming more evident. our nervous systems are becoming more sensitive to prepare us for the deep feelings that we need to take us into that kingdom of heaven within, to then transmit it out to help affect the collective, because we're going through individual awakenings, individual transformations, singularities manifesting, supernovas projecting. But in this process, we're helping those that are still living in the dark, in the ignorance, in the old earth, in the old false matrix. They need to lift up with us. So all the work that we're doing on an individual level is to help the collective, because we are here to uplift all of humanity. The hue, the light, the God source has returned with this full awareness, this pure awareness, to help uplift all of humanity, because that old story has lived out its full potential. It's lived out the code of the matrix. So we are at the omega point. We're at the gate of heaven, the pearly gates. But it is a gateless gate. Many people think, because of the sin or the negative programming, that the door is not open for them, but they have it closed themselves. I'm here to tell you the door is fully open. The portal is open wide, but it is up to you to step through, and you step through it with your heart. You let the heart, like a magnet, guide you to source. And we can step through, and it helps to go into the meditative states, to work with the higher frequencies, like the crystals and the stones and rocks and the scents and the incenses and the essential oils, these gifts from Gaia, from the Great Spirit, to assist us. Not that you need anything outside yourself, but these things are just tools for exploration, tools of consciousness, and tools of transformation to help us. But you can just sit still out in nature. You don't need anything other than your vessel, your avatar, and go deep within into that stillness, into the silence. And in that stillness and the silence, there is a natural pull. It is the magnetic, still white light at the center of your being, the kingdom of heaven within, the crystal palace at the center of all Dantians, the crystal palace of Eden, of Shambhala, of Valhalla. It goes by many names, but it is within you. There is no separation. So peace in the light and the truth of the one divine source. As I continue this transmission from Chem. So this nice blissiness was a very welcome break. I know the main reason I've been so busy in inner work was to help bring the event for the planet. We had to do some bridging work for that a few days ago. Several of the planetary councils told me I will never have to run that hard again. Thank God. I get the sense that we've all been working hard to energetically prep for the event. So we have been in this speedy, crazy, intense dance. I've never felt the energies like this before, and I'm sure you're feeling similar. The energies themselves, I don't quite know how to describe them now, because this is different than before. We are in a new arena, in new vibrational rungs of the Ascension. If I am to try to describe this new arena, I would say it feels less solid, speedier, more unpredictable, more intense, more sky-high in light and frequency. We are feeling more light within us and more light from the cosmic energies, and our bodies are having the feeling of being too light. Super fast and intense upgrades, body upgrades, feeling a growing connection to various streams of information and intuition, that it can feel confusing, disorienting, overwhelming as they open for us. At the upper level, it is all orchestrated with deliberate intent. We don't have to worry. It all makes sense from the upper levels looking down. Everyone is of course unique. I'm speaking in general. So after last night's and today's bliss ease, tonight I started feeling another wave of experience in which I felt too light, dizzy, shaky, feeling of strong pressure or magneticness in my head, felt like I could barely stay up, so I had to go lie down. The hint I got was that this is an upgrade of my own crown and third eye, that I'm about to open to more intuition and information. Last night, with the continuous visions of life after the event, that was also an increase in intuition happening at the same time. So yes, I'm upgrading the intuitive abilities again tonight, and I'm having that feeling of being too light and dizzy. Shakiness comes intermittently, and the feet, they go through these finer vibrations that surprise me because of how strong they are. My legs go through feelings of achiness and pressure that is strong and hurts. This indicates lower chakra light turning online for us right now, as we just spent months clearing lower chakra topics. All in all, the really difficult phase of continuous clearing, which I felt a mess the whole time, is over for me since about 4 days ago. But the upgrades are strong and the energies are strong, and we are in this area energetically where things feel even lighter and more energy-based than before. This is because we created this new highlight space in our recent months of light working. See this as an achievement because it is. Be aware of the dark lashback, which can be stronger now because of how much light we now work, and because their time is almost up. Also be aware of the old matrix feeling harsher to us in certain respects because we are adjusting to this new place of super high light that we are in now. It almost feels creepy, freaky to me at times lately, like a very bad feeling as I see certain aspects of the matrix more than before. This is because, as I said, we are so super high in our frequency now, it seems we will adjust. That feeling of no foundation or being too wispy thin, these are not comfortable, but yes, I do feel this is a new space for us and we are adjusting to it right now. Also, a feeling of death is in the air, like an urgency or like everything is dying and we can't stop it. I felt this is the last few days out of nowhere. If we look at it in light of the planetary status right now, I feel it's because the matrix is dying and dark beings are losing their place on Earth. These are their emotions. Also the feeling of the matrix sinking right now because it's sinking more rapidly as we get so much closer to the event. Use energetically, psychically feeling the sinking matrix along with our new space of super high light can feel too much disturbing, crazy making. I am feeling this way myself. Just know it's not you, it's the energetics right now. We are adjusting to these new energetics at the moment. Hang in there. So that's from Kem Kuhn, who used to go by Christy Dimensional. Also, check out Lisa Transcendence Brown, put out a new video today. I started watching it. I didn't get to watch the whole thing. It just popped up on my feed. And, you know, if something resonates with me, I'll start watching it. And then when I have some downtime, say I'm driving or working out or whatever, I'll listen to certain. I don't have a lot of free time to check out a lot of things going on online, but you know, half hour a day I'll listen to other people's transmissions or whatnot. So this feeling, many people are feeling this vertigo feeling, this feeling of spinning, and I've felt that many times in my life. And here and there, off and on, so that helps to ground into the earth. Get plenty of rest. A sister of mine actually is in the hospital right now with major vertigo. She fell last week and hit her face and that, and she's just been going into these spinning energies. And when you spin like that, it makes you feel very nauseous, and she has cystic fibrosis to begin with, so she's already, her immunity's compromised. So please send much love and light and healing energies to our sister of the light. And also, please send your loving energies, healing energies to all beings and all light workers that are going through a struggle right now, especially the ones that are feeling the need to be aggressive or attack. I send those beings love. I'm not going to engage them. Now, that's why I put this out, because I don't engage dark energies. I release them, I let them go. I let them move through me and out of me, and let them return and be dissolved by the source, by the great central sun. And you could see that dark energy if you feel it latching on or hooking on to your consciousness. I don't allow that to happen. In my daily practices, I send that negativity back to the light. Because that light, as it transmits from that still white center, it can be converted to the three hells. That's one thing Zen Master Benkai would teach, is that all beings are born perfectly awakened Buddhas, or born into that pure awareness. Just like I said, when you look into a newborn baby's eyes, you could stare for hours, because there's no filters, there's no conflict. It's just that pure awareness looking up at you. Just like in the eyes of a cat or dog, you could stare for hours and feel that pure peace, because they're also transmitting directly from the Buddha mind, their true essence, their true self. So I send love and healing energy to those that try to bring me down or try to attack me. And I'm fine, brothers and sisters of the light. I'm protected by some of the most powerful dragons and celestial beings. So no need for concern. I'm just addressing, because I know many of you are feeling these attacks, feeling these energies. But I know many of you also are in this bliss energy, because these frequencies are off the charts. These codes are coming in now daily. Our DNA is being upgraded in this process. And it is a slow process, because it would have a malicious effect if it happened too quickly. We call it the quickening, because it is accelerating. But you can't just flip the switch. It would be too much for the avatar to handle, and it would not be able to survive that massive influx of infinite divine light. So we're getting these little upgrades until the full event, which in the future, a future date, in the distant future, it'll seem like it happened in a moment. But us that are living through it know that these energies, I've been practicing and taking on these energies for over 30 years. I've trained with many masters, Zen masters, Taoist masters, shamans, healers, sages, and been through many trials and tribulations, many dark nights of the soul. I've been to the highest mountain and the lowest valley, and everywhere in between. Not that that's anything special, because many have been through this journey. There's been many rainbow bodies in the past, and I'm not claiming to be anything. I'm not claiming to have attained the rainbow body, but I've received transmissions, and I am on the path with all of you, and we are all in this together, and we are uplifting all of humanity with our work. And one last thing before I run, I started to talk about this the other day, and I think I jumped to a different timeline, or maybe I did talk about it. It's all becoming a big blur, but this is something transmitted to me from a Zen master, Kango Roshi, and Roshi just means teacher or master in Japanese. You can look him up, Kango Roshi. He wrote a book that's really good. Kango means diamond in Japanese. And there's the Diamond Sutra from Hoi Nung, which is a great sutra for awakening. But Kango would teach us that when you practice your meditative arts, he would say, practice as if your hair is on fire. Because the problem is, we think in times of we'll put something off till tomorrow, or we'll put little effort in now, and then tomorrow we'll put the full effort in. And the Buddha said one of our biggest problems is that we believe and think we have a future, but you must live and practice as if this is it. This is the last moment. You sit as you sit on your cushion or your chair, or you stand in nature. There's sitting practices, there's standing practices, there's walking meditation. As long as you put your awareness into that center, into yourself, into your breath. Most practices I've ever done, we work with the breath. The air is one of the most important elements, one of the most important functions of the avatar is breathing. And the deeper you breathe, the better. The slow, deep, conscious breath with a straight spine. And you could practice with the eyes closed. In Zen, our eyes would be half open, half closed. So you're in between worlds. And the tongue lightly on the roof of the mouth. And as you sit and you breathe, you can count your breaths to 10 and start over at 1. That's generally how the Zen masters will start you, is when you breathe in 1, breathe out 2 until you reach 10 and start over at 1. Because it keeps the mind focused on something, so it doesn't go into the monkey mind where it thinks of the past, present, future. So Congo would say, sit in your practice as if your hair is on fire. Like, this is it. Practice as if this is the last time you're ever going to practice. As if you, like, this is the last moment in this realm. What are you going to do? How are you going to practice? Because one teacher once said, you realize your Buddha nature not when you're aimlessly floating down a river, but when you're getting chased by a pack of wild jackals. You know, it's those moments of trauma, those moments of great suffering that can trigger our deepest self, our still self. It basically, this saying, pushing you over the edge. You know, those, you know, petting a puppy dog doesn't push you over the edge. I mean, it's a beautiful experience and it's a beautiful moment, but our practices, that's why the masters, once they would master art, would go out into the public. They would go out into the world and see the fruits of their labor, see how they act. There was one guru a friend of mine trained with that would take them to a casino and say, can you be in peace here in this, with all this noise and chaos and da-da-da. That shows you, it's that mirror that says, how deep have I gone in my practice? Many times, sensei, I train one Zen master and Shin Buddhist master that I train with, a temple, the Buddhist temple back in the, late 80s, early 90s. When we would sit and practice, sometimes in the middle of practice, he had these two big wooden blocks and he would slam them together and it would sound like a lightning bolt going off. And you know, like in your practice, well, it would definitely bring you back into this moment. But it also showed you if you didn't jump, you were in that still spot. And there were sometimes you jumped, sometimes where it just moved right through you. And that's when you know you are in that pure presence. And if you're not, it will bring you into that presence. And that's what the suffering, a guru once said, those that suffer the most are the closest to God. Because it's in those times of great suffering when we seek out the spiritual, when we go to God, when we tend to, and it's not that you have to suffer to experience your great awakening or to experience the truth or the creator or our highest self, whatever name you want to give. We're not caught up in concepts anymore. That's of the old matrix. We don't get caught up in debating truth or covering up truth. All is being revealed. We are in the time of revelation. Revelation is revealing. The Armageddon is that which is hidden is becoming revealed. And I just lost my train of thought. Because all is being revealed. For the love of humanity, let it be revealed. So what I was saying, it came back to me, the suffering that you do not have to suffer. That's what every master says that went through great suffering. Once you come to that realization that you are already one with pure source, with pure light, with pure bliss, pure awareness, you realize that your suffering was not necessary. It was not in vain, because it was your suffering that brought you to be able to withstand the Nawal, the unknown. Because that void you have to travel through to get to the unknowable, to reach source, to reach that great mystery. And to the mind, that's a very scary place, the void, the emptiness, the stillness, because there's nothing to grasp, there's nothing to hold on to, there's nothing to attain. But also in that total annihilation is total liberation, is total freedom, total awareness. But we need to use our conscious mind to navigate. We navigate the tonal and into the Nawal. And that's the Nawal, N-A-G-U-A-L. Carlos Castaneda wrote much about it. His shaman teacher, Don Juan, taught much about the Nawal and the tonal, the known and the unknown, and then the unknowable. But as we navigate through the void and through the emptiness, let the sound, any sound you hear, carry you into the silence, into the source, and then we break on through. We are in Operation Breakthrough for humanity. Many of us are having our breakthroughs in consciousness and awareness. So just know that you have suffered enough. You have been heard. The calling has brought the arrival of pure awareness, pure consciousness. And many people see this manifest as a fleet of a fleet of shifts and a fleet of ships. These ships of higher dimensional frequency are being seen throughout the world. And I have seen the ships, I have seen the fleets, I have seen the energies. But they're not necessary for attainment. Some people feel like they might be left out or being left in the dark, and it's no. If you're hearing these transmissions right here now, know that you are on the right path. You are doing exactly as you need to do. Just keep going within, keep living your path with heart. You are on mission. Every breath you take, everything you do here in the now is for the ascension, is for the event, and for the new earth. And I'm not trapped in any concepts. I'm just using words that resonate with this audience, with this mind, because we are being prepared for what we're calling the event, which is the evolutionary leap, which no one knows the exact date or time. Any date that we use are just catalysts and anchor points for eternity, to anchor into this realm, into the foundation of Gaia, to help us to then blossom, bloom, and manifest our pure awareness into this realm for all eternity, for all time, for all beings, for all energies, and all life. So I thank you all for all you do. Thank you for joining me today on this most auspicious day with the gold light coming in full power now. So know that you are loved, you are blessed, and you are living your light and life. I'm grateful for each and every one of you. Please share in the comments below what you're experiencing here in the now. Thank you, beloved brother or sister of the light. I love you all. Namaste.